Welcome to Voices of Faith and Love, a Caregivers podcast, a place where faith, education, and advocacy come together to support those walking the caregiving journey. This podcast is for caregivers supporting loved ones through Alzheimer's, cancer, and chronic illness, and for anyone who has ever felt unseen, unheard, or overwhelmed in the process. Here, we break the silence of caregiving by sharing real stories, honest conversations, and practical resources. We believe that knowledge becomes power, and education equips caregivers to make informed, confident decisions while advocating for themselves and those they love. Through faith-filled dialogue, expert insights, and lived experiences, we empower caregivers to speak up, seek support, and stand strong, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. We are your hosts, Tracey Jones
and Yolanda Moore,
walking with you in faith, love, education, and advocacy. One step, one story, and one voice at a time. Welcome to Voices of Faith and Love.
Sponsored by the Love and Rose Foundation and the Alzheimer's Caregiver Support Group. Welcome to Voices of Faith and Love, a Caregivers podcast. This is part one of our two-part series on caregiver burnout, recorded live at the East Point College Park alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta's annual wellness summit. Here's what you'll hear: a powerful caregiving stress check-in, honest talk about living in survival mode, why taking a break is so necessary. If you've ever been strong for everyone else while quietly running on empty, this space is for you. So take a breath. You're not alone. Let's get into it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Tracey Jones, and we're so glad you're here today.
And I'm Yolanda Moore. We thank you so much for joining us for our second session at the Delta Sigma Theta East Point College Park Wellness Summit event. This session will be talking about caregiver burnout.
And we are at the North Clayton Middle School, address 5517 West Fayetteville Road. We are recording here with an audience, and we have you all here online. So we thank you all for joining us. We're going to talk about the parts people don't see. That is the long days and the silent grief, the deep love and the strength you didn't know you had. But guess what? You are not alone, and your story does matter. So today, we're talking about something that many caregivers experience, but don't always talk about, and that is the caregiver burnout. I can attest to the caregiver burnout because I've had caregiver burnout. My mom and father passed away with Alzheimer's, and so I know all about the caregiver burnout, and we wanted to share the caregiver burnout journey with you and help you along your journey to see if we can help you with some of that caregiver burnout. So today, we are going to dive straight in to what it is caregiver burnout. So ladies and gentlemen, in the room and online, we're going to do what we call a caregiver burnout stress check. Most of us, when you ask us, how are you doing? We always say the famous line, oh, I'm fine, when you're really not fine. So I'm going to ask you some questions to test your stress level. This will let you know if you're fine or not. So do we have any caregivers in the room right now that is taking care of a loved one?
Looks like we have a few people in the audience that are caregivers.
That is absolutely awesome. So this test is going to be for you. So let's start. Answer these questions yes or no. Do you regularly feel like you have to do it all yourself and that you should be doing more? Answer yes or no. I know I felt that way. I felt like I had to do it all myself. The next question, withdraw from family, friends, and activities that you used to enjoy. Yes or no? That is also me because I had to stop doing a lot when I had to take care of my mom and dad. How about you, Yolanda?
Not
Okay.
that one. But I'm
Uh,
quite sure that something is on that list that I'm going to say yes
Oh,
to.
sure. We're going to come up your street in just a minute.
Right.
All right. So the next question, worry about the safety of the person you care for. Yes or no? We should
Yes,
all
that's
pick.
me
Yeah.
right there. That's
Yes, we should all
worry
pick
about
one because
daddy's safety
we
all
worry.
the time. Yes.
Yes, we worry about our loved one. How about feel anxious about money and healthcare related decisions?
Yes,
That
number two. Yes.
that was also a yes for
Especially,
me.
unfortunately, in this political climate that we're in right now.
Yes, that is always a concern. Money is always a concern. How about deny the impact of the disease and its effects on your family? Sometimes we're in denial that this is not happening. She's good. He's good. It's going to go away. And so we feel like, oh, nah, it'll go away. I'm good. And a lot of times you're just in denial. How about feel grief or sadness that your relationship with the person isn't what it used to be? After you come out of denial, then you'll start saying, oh my God, this is really happening. This person isn't the person that they used to be. How
Yeah, I
about
can relate to that one as well, Tracy.
Yes, me too. I think I said yes to all of these when I took this test. And it just brought me to tears because I didn't realize how burnout I really was.
Mm-hmm.
How about feel frustrated or angry when the person continually repeats things and doesn't seem to listen? We need to put all 10 hands and 10 toes down on that one.
Yeah, oh, yes.
Because that's one of the main things that happens when someone is dealing with Alzheimer's. They will ask the same question over and over and over again. And it is frustrating if you don't understand. So the next question, experience health problems that are taking a physical or mental toll. I said yes to that because I was hospitalized, because I was taking care of my brother and my dad and was not taking care of myself and was in denial that I wasn't taking care of myself. So that's a big one.
Yeah.
All right, you all, those are the 8 questions that I have for you. If you answered yes to any question, you may be experiencing caregiver stress. Identifying this stress is the first important step so that you can work toward managing your own health by consulting a doctor and taking advantage of the Alzheimer's Association resources, which is their 24-hour hotline, 800-272-3900, and also their website, alz.org. So that is the end of our caregiver stress check. And if you all checked yes, then you need to continue to listen to the podcast because we are going to be able to help you with your stress level. How about
That's
that?
right. Absolutely. So, and I'm hoping that our online audience was also taking note of some of these questions as well as our live audience here with us.
Yes. And I also wanted to interject, you also may be experiencing exhaustion. You may be experiencing fatigue. You're always tired, or you may feel like emotional overload. You will cry at the drop of a hat. You will chop somebody's head off in a minute. All of these things are a sign of you are stressed. So don't ignore the signs. The signs are telling you that you need to go get you some help.
Absolutely. So, look like we may have someone with a question in the room. Go ahead with your question, please.
Yes, sometimes I'm not a caregiver right this moment, but I have been with about 4 or 5 different people. And I find myself being so prideful to where I don't accept help from people that ask, can I help you? A lot of times I feel they really don't mean it. So you're not going to accept more help from other people.
That is a great question. That is one of the things that we're going to talk about. That is a huge problem that all caregivers go through. That is one of the things that causes you stress because you feel like you've got to do it all by yourself and that you don't need any help or don't have any help or you don't seek help because you feel like they're not going to help you. But caregiving is when you have a community of people helping you. And it takes a community. You just cannot do it alone. If your brother or sister or a loved one or next door neighbor says, hey, I can watch mom for 30 minutes. 30 minutes is good for you to get away and woosah, take a minute. So anytime that you can get help, take help. It takes you off the hook for 30 minutes. You will not believe how awesome you'll feel after just 30 minutes. It doesn't have to be a whole day or half a day, but just take a little time, a little bit of time for yourself. I realize that caregiving is 365 days, 24/7. I realize that, but you do have to start taking the help, because if you don't, you're going to have caregiver burnout. So make sure that you seek the help, or when someone says, hey, do you need anything? Do you need any help? Don't say, no, I'm fine. I got it. No, tell them the truth. Hey, can you go to the grocery store? Or can you watch mom? Let me go to the grocery store. I need to get out for 15 minutes and breathe. Whatever that looks like for you, please take the help. That's going to help you with your caregiver burnout. I hope that answered your question. So I see we have someone that wants to ask a question. Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead with your question.
So I don't really have a question, but what she said really sparked something in me, the previous question, because I had that same issue. And my mother has transitioned, but I was a caretaker for her for over 7 years. And one of the things that helped me was I had to take small steps. Yes, sometimes when we think of taking a break, we think, oh, I'm going to be gone for a whole day. I'm going to be gone for a week. No, sometimes it is like you said, 30 minutes. It may be 15 minutes. Just to step outside and take a deep breath. Yes. So taking small steps. And the doctor said to me, if you bear yourself out, when you're gone, who's going to be left to take care of your mother? And so it helped me to put things in perspective. So I had that same problem. And yeah, it is a kind of crap, like she talked about, but we don't recognize it as that. We just call it love.
Yes, she is exactly right. It doesn't have to be all day. Sometimes it could be just 10, 15, 20 minutes for you to walk away or just to take a moment. Sometimes you don't have a whole day to take, but any time that you can take to yourself, you should take it. You won't be as agitated with your loved one because they're repeating the same thing. So it kind of helps you relieve a little tension when you can step away for 10, 15, 20 minutes. Now, if you could do 2 or 3 hours, great. That would be absolutely awesome. But don't negate just taking 10 or 15 minutes away, because those minutes do help.
You're listening to Voices of Faith and Love, a Caregivers podcast. We'll be right back in just a few moments. But first, a special message from our sponsors. Every day, families face the challenges of cancer and dementia, but no one should have to walk that journey alone. The Loving Rose Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to supporting cancer patients, dementia patients, cancer survivors, and their caregivers with compassion, resources, and hope. Founded in loving memory of Mrs. Rose Bates, we are committed to making lives easier through financial assistance, community support, and faith-driven encouragement. Rooted in love, guided by research, and powered by service, we are here for you. Join us, support us, give today. For more information, please visit our website at www.lovingrosefoundation.com. That's lovingrosefoundation.com. The Loving Rose Foundation, where love lives, support grows, and hope never fades. Caregiving is a journey of love, but even the strongest heart needs support. Caregiving can feel overwhelming, whether you're feeling exhausted, uncertain, or just need someone who understands.
But you don't have to walk this journey alone. Join our Alzheimer's support group, a safe, welcoming space where caregivers come together to share, learn, and be encouraged. If you're caring for a loved one with any form of dementia, we invite you to join our support group, a space filled with encouragement, understanding, and faith. Come be refreshed, uplifted, and reminded that God sees you, and so do we. We meet monthly every fourth Monday at 6:30 p.m. via Zoom, open to all caregivers.
Welcome back to a Caregivers Podcast with hosts Yolanda Moore and Tracey Jones.
So when you're dealing with someone who has dementia or chronic illness, you really, really have to be on top of your game. When I do my support groups, the first thing I ask the ladies is, what did you do this month to take care of yourself? And I ask that because you have to take care of yourself first before you can take care of your loved ones. So I want you to be at your best so that you can give the best care. If you're already upset and irritated, you're not going to be attentive. You're not going to be able to do whatever it is they need to do, and you're not going to be patient. So I always say, hey, ladies, so what did you do for yourself this month? Because you need to do something for you every single month.
You're right. I'm so glad you asked us that in the caregiver group, because I know there's plenty of times you jump on me like, Yolanda, why didn't you do something for yourself?
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm glad we do that for one another, that we can, hey, remind ourselves. You need to go get your nails done. You need to go out and take yourself out to lunch. You need to go, even if you just sit by yourself about 10, 15 minutes a day and play your favorite game on your phone.
And sometimes that's the best. That's how you can steal away. Sometimes you just have to steal away. We know the journey is hard. We know that. And so that's why we're here to give you all some good tips on some things that you can do to make your journey just a little bit easier. Because we understand, and we're here to help you learn how to overcome the caregiver burnout.
That's right. And that reminds me, Tracey, when you're on the airplane and the mask falls down and they said, put the mask on yourself before you put it on your loved one. You taking your few minutes is you putting on your mask.
There you go. That's a good analogy, Yolanda, because yes, put your mask on first, because if you don't, you're going to die and the people that you were trying to help are going to live. So that is a good analogy. That's very, very good analogy. Does that make sense to everyone? It made sense to me.
All right. So, and everybody's got to thank you, ladies. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, all right. Does anybody else have another question? Because those were two good questions, and we're up for discussion for another question if anyone has one. If not, then Yolanda is going to talk to us today about what is caregiver burnout and how you can overcome caregiver burnout. Take it away, Yolanda.
So our definition of caregiver burnout is state of physical, emotional, and mental exhaustion. It happens when you pour so much out of yourself into someone that you lose who you are. You lose yourself in the process. You may feel tired, anxious, not even getting enough rest. You get irritated at any little thing. You're easily frustrated. You emotionally just drained. You're just like your brain just tired. It's mixed. Like sometimes my dad's caregiver, she would say, that just makes me tired. That just makes me tired. And sometimes you feel isolated, like no one understands you. No one wants to help you and you feel all alone. You may feel even guilty about feeling the way that you do. And sometimes you don't even recognize it because you're just in survival mode all the time.
Yolanda, you are so right about that survival mode. That survival mode is a good thing, and sometimes it could be a bad thing because it wears you out. When you're in survival mode, you just go, go, go. You don't care. You don't eat. You don't sleep. You don't take your medicine. You just like, I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I gotta take care of this. I gotta take care of that. I gotta go see my loved one. Then I gotta do this. And that's where I was. I was in survival mode. And when survival mode kicks in, you're like the Energizer Bunny. And then after the survival mode wears off, then you are totally depleted and exhausted. So I say survival mode is good because it gets you through. But when that survival mode is over, you somehow crash. So I always say you don't get breaks, you have to take a break. So even in your survival mode, make sure you stop and take a break. Make sure you get off of that wheel, jump off the wheel, and take you a break. Even though you've got to get back on the wheel, that's okay. But always stop, get off the wheel, take a break. Because I always say you don't get a break, you take a break. So make sure you take your breaks. That is very important. So survival mode can be good and it can be bad. So don't let it be bad for you. Let it be a good habit instead of a bad one. So I see we have someone that wants to ask a question. Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead with your question.
Comment basically. And on to what you said, when I was a caregiver, not only did I need the support, I need to get away. And the best thing that helped me was a caregiver support. To be with somebody that's going through the same thing that you are, and sharing the tears together and talk about experiences that, only you would experience with a person going through the same thing. I think that's a good thing too, not only just get away, but to be with people that's going through the same thing.
Yes. And I don't know if you ladies notice on the screen, we actually have information about a caregiver support group. And it's every fourth Monday of the month at 6:30 via Zoom. And it's open to all caregivers, whether you're Alzheimer's, cancer, any chronic illness. If you need support for caregiving, we are here every fourth Monday of the month. We appreciate everyone's their feedback and joining into our discussion. I think we have another person. Go ahead. Thank you.
My mom says I'm not a caregiver because she doesn't live with me, but she lives with my sister and we're both in Clayton County. So I see my mom whenever I want to, but I have to base my visits on how I feel too. I know I have to relieve my sister.
Mm-hmm.
So we touch base all the time. The reason why I'm standing here right now is I am open to the support group, things like that. But my sister isn't. She pretty much feels that she's got her hands around that. She does but she does have her caregiver burnout. And she reaches out to me when she's at that push. So I guess I just have to keep exposing her to all of this and hopefully she'll come around because I can't make her do anything. We're all adults and we all want to do what's the best thing for my mom. But I just kind of wanted to share that, it's another form of stress. It really is. So I get out and I try to walk as much as I can. I try to take care of myself first thing in the morning. Yes. Because they're in their own house. And by the time I finish taking care of me, and I'm like, okay, well, I've done that for myself. So whatever else happens one day, we'll just work with.
So question for you now. How does your sister ever go to the doctor if she's always doing?
For herself?
Yeah.
She forgets her doctor's appointment.
Right. You need to ask her, sis, what are your numbers? What are your values? You don't know because you don't go.
I understand that she doesn't want the help or doesn't feel like she needs the help. And that's okay. We're glad that you can be her support system. Right now, you can tell her about the support group and that it's available to her if she wants to join our support group. Or if she's not ready for that, She can call me directly. You can give her my phone number and she can call me if she wants to speak directly to me. Maybe that will help her. Some people are not ready to join a group and talk to a group of people, but may just want to talk to me. So if she's available and want to do that, please let her know that that is available to her. And sometimes people don't even know that they are burnout. And at this point, I think she's burnt out and really don't know. But it shows up eventually. You'll get to the point where you can't do nothing else but get some help. And so it sounds like she is almost there, really burnt out, needing the help, but don't want to ask for help, don't even want to accept help. But she'll get to the point where she's so burnt out, she's going to have to ask for help.
You know, if your sister doesn't take care of herself, she's going to end up in the hospital from stress. Stress is a silent killer that causes heart attacks, which can lead to a stroke.
So yeah, that even happened to me with burnout. I ended up in the hospital because I was burnt out. Didn't want to tell no one I was burnt out. Didn't even want anyone to know I was burnt out. So I kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And the next thing you know, I'm in the hospital. So burnout has a way of letting you know that your body is getting burnt out. And so I waited until my body said, okay, I'm done. I'm burnt out. I can't do anymore. And so I ended up spending 5 days in the hospital. The doctors could not find nothing medically wrong with me. And he said, Ms. Jones, are you under stress? And I said, yes, I'm under a lot of stress. He said, if you do not get out from under some of this stress, then you will be back with a stroke or a heart attack or even death. So you have to look out for yourself. Try not to let yourself get burnt out. If you are burnt out, and do something about it. That is just so important.
That's right. Because if something happens to your sister, tag, you're in it. It doesn't matter that you're not living in the house with your mother and your sister. The fact that you support your sister as a caregiver, that makes you a caregiver too.
Yes, because you know what? Caregiving is a full-time job, 365 days, 7 days a week, and you don't have time to be living with a caregiver or a loved one to say that you're a caregiver or not. Yes, you are a caregiver, whether you're living in the home or not. You still have responsibility and you are still considered a caregiver. You're always wondering about her. You're calling her. You're going to see her. All of that takes time and effort, money, finances. So all of that takes effort. And that is considered a caregiver. So don't ever let anyone tell you that you're not a caregiver just because you're not living in the home.
Absolutely right. I totally agree with Tracey.
So we want to give thanks to the audience that is online. We are the Voices of Faith and Love at Caregivers Podcast, and we are talking about caregiver burnout. So if you're online and have some questions for us, you can email us at faithandlove2026@gmail.com. That's faithandlove2026@gmail.com. Also, you can join our support group. We meet every fourth Monday at 6:30 p.m. via Zoom. Please email us and we will send you the link. We thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a wonderful evening, hasn't it, Yolanda?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you to our online listeners as well as our live audience today for joining us. This has been a great interactive audience today. We appreciate all of your feedback and comments. I hope our online audience took down some notes, but if you didn't, just remember that you can get all of our contact information as well as important show notes from this episode in our podcast description box. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all next time. We hope you enjoyed part 1 of our Caregiver Burnout series. Be sure to join us for our part 2 on June 30th, available on your favorite podcast platform. We'll continue this important conversation with more practical insights, encouragement, and real talk about recognizing signs of burnout before it takes over. Because caregivers deserve support too. You don't want to miss it. As we come to the end of today's episode, remember this: you are seen, you are valued, and your caregiving journey matters. Through every challenge, every decision, and every quiet moment of strength, know that faith sustains, love carries, and knowledge empowers. By sharing our stories, educating the public, and advocating boldly, we break the silence of caregiving together. Thank you for allowing us to walk this journey with you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please follow us and share it with your fellow caregivers and friends. Until next time, we are your hosts,
Tracey Jones
and Yolanda Moore, walking with you in faith, love, education, and advocacy. One step, one story, and one voice at a time. This is Voices of Faith and Love, a Caregivers podcast, where your voice matters. Sponsored by the Loving Rose Foundation and the Alzheimer's Caregivers Support Group.